welcome to the Tough Love Nephilim series. My name is Rolon. Now, according to Genesis 6, the Nephilim were the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men. And today we are talking about the Hivites. If you find yourself enjoying this content, please consider smashing those like and subscribe buttons. Alright, let's get into this one. Historically, the Hivites were a Canaanite tribe that appear to have resided in and around Shechem in central Canaan, northwest of the Dead Sea, during the days of Jacob, Genesis 33:18 through 34:2. Later, they occupied a place further north at the foot of Mount Hermon, in the land of Mizpah, according to Joshua 11:1 through 3. BDB Strong's Concordance reference H2340 renders Hivite this way. Hivite, villagers, a sixth generation of descendants of Canaan, the son of Ham, who were living in northern Canaan near Mount Hermon at the time of the conquest. Hitchcock's Dictionary of Bible Names renders Hivites this way. Wicked, wickedness. Smith's Bible Dictionary defines Hivites this way. Hivites, villagers. Descendants, the six in order of Canaan, the son of Ham. Genesis 10:17 and 1 Chronicles 1:15. We first encountered the actual people of the Hivites at the time of Jacob's return to Canaan in Genesis 34:2. We next meet with the Hivites during the conquest of Canaan in Joshua 9:7 and Joshua 11:19. The main body of the Hivites were at this time living in the northern confines of western Palestine, under Hermon in the land of Mizpah, Joshua 11:3. In Mount Lebanon, from Mount Baal Hermon to the entering in of Hamath, Judges 3:3. Compare with 2 Samuel 24:7. Hastings' Dictionary of the Bible renders Hivites in this way. Hivites, one of the tribes of Palestine which the Israelites displaced. Our oldest source says that they were the people who, fearing to meet the Israelites in battle, by a ruse made a covenant with them. A Deuteronomic editor states that their villages were Gibeon, Chephirah, Kiriath Jearim, and Beeroth. Gibeon was 6 miles northwest of Jerusalem, and Beeroth 10 miles north of it. Probably, therefore, they inhabited a region north of Jerusalem. Genesis 34:2 makes the Shechemites Hivites, but this is of doubtful authority. The main part of the chapter is silent on this point. In Joshua 11:3 and Judges 3:3, they seem to be located near Hermon in the Lebanon, but Hivite is probably here a corruption of Hittite. Deuteronomic editors introduce Hivites often in their list of Canaanitish peoples, usually placing them before Jebusites. Perhaps this indicates that they lived near Jerusalem. 2 Samuel 24:7, though vague, is not inconsistent with this. Some have supposed Hivite to mean villager, but the etymology is most uncertain. Really, nothing is known of their racial affinities. George A. Barton. Now, the first time the word Hivite appears in the Bible is in the list of nations descended from Noah in Genesis 10. According to Genesis 10:15 through 18, the Hivites descended from Canaan, who was fathered by Ham, Noah's son. Genesis 10:15 through 18 reads as follows. Canaan fathered Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, the Jebusite, the Amorite, the Girgashite, the Hivite, the Archite, the Sinite, the Arvadite, the Zemarite, and the Hamathite. And afterward, the families of the Canaanite were spread abroad. In Deuteronomy 7:1 through 6, when Israel was in the early stages of conquering Canaan, God instructed Israel to completely slaughter 7 major Canaanite tribes. The Hivites just so happened to be one of them. So, Israel set about the brutal task, initially with Moses at the helm, and then later under Joshua's leadership. During Joshua's warring with the kings of Canaan, only one tribe he was to go up against escaped complete destruction, and that was the Gibeonite tribe. Joshua 11:16 through 20. Joshua 11:16 through 20 reads, So Joshua took all that land, the hill country and all the Negev, all the land of Goshen, the lowland, the Arabah, the hill country of Israel and its lowland, from Mount Halak that rises towards Seir, even as far as Baal-Gad in the valley of Lebanon at the foot of Mount Hermon. And he captured all their kings, and struck them and put them to death. Joshua waged war a long time with all these kings. There was not a city which made peace with the sons of Israel except the Hivites living in Gibeon. They took them all in battle. For it was of the Lord to harden their hearts, to meet Israel in battle in order that he might utterly destroy them, that they might receive no mercy, but that he might destroy them, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. The whole event surrounding the Gibeonites avoiding complete and total destruction plays out back in Joshua 9. Jumping back to Joshua 9 from Joshua 11:16 through 20, specifically, we learn that Gibeon, Chephirah, Beeroth, and Kiriath-Jearim were all Hivite cities. Joshua 9:6 through 7 reads, "And they went to Joshua at the camp at Gilgal, and said to him, and to the men of Israel, We have come from a far country. Now then, make a covenant with us. But the men of Israel said to the Hivites, Perhaps you are living within our land. How then are we to make a covenant with you?" Joshua 9:16 through 18 reads, "However, it came about at the end of 3 days after they had made a covenant with them, that they heard that they were their neighbors, and that they were living within their land. Then the sons of Israel set out and came to their cities on the 3rd day. Now their cities were Gibeon, Chephirah, Beeroth, and Kiriath-Jearim. But the sons of Israel did not attack them, because the leaders of the congregation had sworn to them by the Lord, the God of Israel. And the whole congregation grumbled against the leaders." Additionally, it appears that the Hivites were part of the Amorite conglomerate, as we learn later in 2 Samuel 21 that the Gibeonites were a remnant of the Amorites. This fact seems almost assured through the understanding that the Gibeonites were named as Hivites in Joshua 9:6 through 7, and not the other way around. 2 Samuel 21, 1 through 2 reads as follows. "Now there was famine in the days of David for 3 years, year after year, and David sought the presence of the Lord. And the Lord said, It is because of Saul and his bloody house, because he put the Gibeonites to death. So the king called the Gibeonites and spoke to them. Now the Gibeonites were not of the sons of Israel, but of the remnant of the Amorites. And the sons of Israel had made a covenant with them. But Saul had sought to kill them in his zeal for the sons of Israel and Judah." As previously stated, we know from Genesis 10:15 through 18 that the Hivites were Canaanites. In Numbers 13, when Israel's spies returned from their 40-day reconnaissance mission in the land of Canaan, they gave their report of the land and its fierce inhabitants. They identified the Canaanites, along with the Amalekites, Hittites, Jebusites, and Amorites residing in the land as the descendants of Anak. Numbers 13:28 through 29. Now, after the initial report, which sent everybody into a frenzy, Caleb steps up to calm everybody down, saying they should by all means go up and take the land because he knew that God would give it to them. However, 10 of the 12 spies were having none of what he was selling, and in their continued report in Numbers 13:30 through 33, those spies went on to describe the sons of Anak not just as people of great height or stature, but as Nephilim. Numbers 13:30 through 33 reads, "Then Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, We should by all means go up and take possession of it, for we will certainly prevail over it. But the men who had gone up with him said, We are not able to go up against the people, because they are too strong for us. So they brought a bad report of the land which they had spied out to the sons of Israel, saying, The land through which we have gone to spy out is a land that devours its inhabitants. And all the people whom we saw in it are people of great stature. We also saw the Nephilim there. The sons of Anak are part of the Nephilim, and we were like grasshoppers in our own sight. And so we were in their sight." Now in this passage, and in Genesis 6:4, the Septuagint renders Nephilim as giants. And as a progenitor Nephilim tribe, the Anakim were enormous, fierce, and powerful giants, as Numbers 13 and Deuteronomy 9 collectively point out. Deuteronomy 9:1 through 2 reads, Hear Israel, you are crossing the Jordan today to go in to dispossess nations greater and mightier than you, cities that are great and fortified to heaven, a people who are great and tall, the sons of the Anakim, whom you know and of whom you have heard it said, who can stand against the sons of Anak? Anak was the son of the Nephilim Arba, Joshua 15:13 and 21:11. And according to Joshua 14:15, Arba was reckoned the greatest man among the Anakim. Now, though the Anakim were a tribe unto themselves, it's important to note that the term Anakim is also used to refer to a combination of 6 other Canaanite tribes and conglomerate tribes in Numbers 13:28-33. The Bible also seems to occasionally use the terms Anakim, sons of Anak, descendants of Anak, and sons of the Anakim, not just as tribal references, but as general terms for the post-Diluvian Nephilim, or Rephaim. Numbers 13:28-33, Deuteronomy 1:26-28, and 9:1-2, and Joshua 11:18-23. In the Bible, there are 3, possibly 4 recorded battles or confrontations between Israel and the Hivites. The first is potentially Genesis 34, as Shechem, the son of Hamor the Hivite, and his people are mentioned as being in this conflict. Though the word Hivites is not used, it seems logical that the people were Hivites, given that they were the people of Hamor the Hivite. Israel won this engagement. The second was in Joshua 6. This was the Battle of Jericho. The Hivites were involved, according to the recap in Joshua 24:11. Israel won this one as well. Third is in Joshua 11:1-9, which Israel won. And fourth and last is in 2 Samuel 21:1, where Saul killed Gibeonites in a prior engagement, when, unfortunately, is not specified. And Israel won that engagement. The final mention of the Hivites in the Bible is in 2 Chronicles 8:1-9, in a list of Solomon's accomplishments. Verses 7-8 of the passage speak of how King Solomon put the Hivites and a number of other Canaanite tribes that Israel failed to completely destroy to forced labor. All that said, the Hivites were either a Nephilim tribe or an intermeshed Nephilim hybrid tribe, whose gene pool was infected with Nephilim DNA. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned a thing or two. If you did indeed enjoy, then please consider smashing those like and subscribe buttons and hitting that notification bell. And if you like the work that I do, and you feel so inclined, you want to support my work, hop on over to my locals page. Donors there all get access to PDFs of my research papers, with endnotes included, and your support is greatly appreciated. You'll find all my links in my description box down below. Alrighty folks, till next time, take care, and God bless.